Support the show by donating at themusicbuds.com. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Music Buds podcast. This is episode number 15, and my name is Henry. This week, I am honored to be joined by the singer, songwriter, musician, and producer, Skott. I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to have you here. Your music is so special, and thank you for taking the time.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy to be here talking with you.
How's life?
Oh, how's life? That's a big question. It's as you know, it's been a strange year. No live shows, but still, the more time I get to spend in the studio, so I've been doing good. You know, I get to do my favorite part, which is actually just write new music. So
yeah. Now, how did you get started? Because I know you come from a very small community, and I know that seemed to really have a pretty big influence on your music.
Yeah, actually, I'm actually there right now where I grew up. So I'm not in Stockholm where I live for the moment. I'm visiting my parents. So I'm sitting here in like my childhood room. It's a quite small village, very small actually, and very traditional. And like everyone here is playing the violin. So I grew up doing that as well since I was 5 years old. So that's kind of how music started for me. It was with the really traditional Swedish folk music.
One thing I wanted to touch on, I know you've been asked about it before, but there is this connection with video game music.
I think it kind of went straight from just only consuming folk music, the music that was around me growing up, to when I became old enough to go to school in town, the closest town. I got some new friends and they had video games at home. And I would get a bit obsessed with that, and especially the music. So I was exposed to that when I was maybe 11, 12 years old, 12. And then I got really interested in that. I got a computer. I downloaded this free tracker program called Modplug Tracker. And it's like you make like blip music. Basically, you produce very simple 8-bit-ish sounding kind of music. So I was only listening to soundtracks from different games at that time, and I started dreaming about that, being a composer for games. So I made like scenes and games up kind of in my head, and I challenged myself to make music for it. Yeah. And that was my biggest hobby for a few years.
Wow.
So that's way before I started singing even.
Well, no, I mean, that's cool. I was talking to a video game composer a few weeks ago, and it's a really complex process, you know, just like it would be for movies or TV. So I'm sure that was very eye-opening.
Yeah. It must be like a whole science just diving into that, like for the real composers of the modern days of video games. And it's just like with movies, I bet, except you don't need the same maybe classical education background.
Yeah, maybe not.
Hopefully, otherwise I don't stand a chance in the future.
Yeah. In terms of songwriting, how did that start? Because I guess people can get started with it in different ways. Was it, something stemming from poetry, or was it just kind of a natural through line into songwriting?
I think it was a bit the other way around. I started with melodies and harmonies, basically chords. And the poetry and the lyric side of it came later. As I was starting to explore my voice when I was around 16, I got a piano for the first time. That's when I started singing, and then it became more interesting, of course, with putting words to the music. But already as like a 5-year-old playing the violin, I wanted to make my own melodies on the violin. So it was like already something I was drawn to, coming up with my own little songs, I guess. But it was only instrumental music. The same with the video game inspired music. It was only strictly instrumental and just melodies, harmonies. So that came way later, but now I love that part equally. It's really, really cool, But I feel like the music speaks louder to me, I would say. And then the challenge is to find out, being able to describe as well what the music is saying. And that's the challenge of putting words to the music.
Yeah. Do you find that with songwriting, maybe more so from a lyrical standpoint, that, and it sounds cheesy to ask, but like, do you find that you discover new things about yourself through that? Or is it more like maybe just reflecting on things?
Yeah, that's interesting. I do think that when you sit and a melody comes to you, and the kind of you're always searching for melodies or harmonies or chords or whatever, or sounds that just makes you feel something. And often you're not able to really put your finger on what you're feeling until further in the process. But then it's usually something maybe that you haven't processed, something that you can track the emotion back to, something that could be, something that you haven't processed, or a strong impression of friend's story, or something that really affects you. And then in that way you do kind of learn new things about yourselves as well, or you get more aware of what you're going through or stuff like that. So it can be quite interesting. And it's almost like when you have this lump in your tummy, when you start feeling that you're finding something that you want to be in, some emotion, then you know you're on the right track with the melodies or chords. And then for me, often the words come later. And when the words start coming, it could be more obvious what it's about. And sometimes it's really like, oh, it's this feeling. It's because of that. Or it gets clearer, way clearer sometimes when you get the words onto it. Yeah.
So now the album, the debut album, Always Live for Always, which is fantastic, by the way. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Oh. Wow.
And it has one of, I think, the best things about artists like you is it feels like a cohesive album. Like it's not just a scrambling or mixing of songs. What is the arc of this album? Because it has so many ups and downs in terms of the emotion. How did the layout, so to speak, of the album come to be?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit that what you said with ups and downs, and it also has this journey kind of, which often has its ups and downs, just like life.
Sure.
But it has there's a dream theme going on a lot, also in the lyrics of the songs, the first song and the last song, and then some of the songs in between. And then it's a little bit about the journey of the year before I released the first song to where I am now. It has a lot to do with that too, the love for music and the dream, and then the mental stage through that journey. Yeah. So yeah, it definitely has a lot of thought behind the way I put the together the order of the album, of course.
Yeah.
And also Always Live for Always, short for Always Live for Always, is Alpha. And Alpha, it's spelled Alpha the way Alpha is spelled in Swedish. So, because I guess in English you spell it with PH, right?
Yeah.
Alpha, yeah. But in Swedish it's the same word, Alpha, and it's spelled the way Alpha, the album is.
Gotcha.
And I also have had a lot of like both dog and wolf themes in my music, and also I call my fans the pack, like the wolf pack. So it's really cool that the short for Always Live for Always turned out to be Alpha.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
It's like the Alpha album. And also meaning the first, it's my first album. So it has like 3 meanings. Yeah. Yeah.
One thing that really struck me is and not just with the album, but with all of your music, is the album art is gorgeous.
Thank you.
how do you get that artwork? I'm just so curious.
It's actually, it's a quite long process, but it's a really fun process. It's always been the same way. I make it together with two of my close friends, and I have since the very first release. So I like to see the songs almost like people or characters or like creatures.
Yeah.
So it's like each song, I like to envision that they're kind of have their own spirit animal or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then I try to picture that, and then I sketch that, and then draw. Some stuff is drawn by me, some stuff is drawn by my friends, and then we just send it back and forth. Basically, the first covers are even hand colored as well, but now I color it digitally so I can tweak the colors.
Right.
Because it took so long in the beginning, because all the lines are also hand drawn. Wow. So it takes a few weeks actually for these covers, but it's kind of my favorite part of the process, except from the music, of course. But I really love making these covers. It's always like a fun point when it's time to do this cover for this song.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that you noticed that. There's a lot of love put into those covers. Yeah, and even this Alpha cover also has, because usually the singles have this one spirit animal, like the creature of the song, but Alpha has 12 creatures, which all is a symbol for each song. So all the songs has their own character and creature.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think as you're saying it, in terms of the love being put into it, that really comes through, because it could be so easy to just kind of give that work to someone else or to do it in a way that would just be purely for, I don't know, commercial purposes. But the way you incorporate it feels personal, and I think that comes through
nice.
So much.
That's awesome that it comes through, because it totally is personal for me. I wouldn't be able to let go of that part at all. Like, that's very, very sacred kind of part of releasing the songs, is to put love into these covers.
Yeah.
So cool. Cool that you noticed that.
Well, in terms of the visual representation of your work, you've done a lot of really cool music videos like Midas or Kodak and Codeine, and they all have a pretty unique stamp on them, kind of like from a concept and style standpoint. I can imagine it's quite a process to get those images in your mind and then have it all come out.
Yeah. It's always interesting with music videos and how to get the right mood and vibe and the character of the music to feel right with the visuals. It's very much a challenge, and that was kind of unexplored for me from the beginning. I started out thinking I would only be writing for other people and not even be an artist myself, because I just was so into the music creating part. And being an artist, you have to do so much more. And now I've learned to embrace that, and I really enjoy that as well, because it turned out that I do really find it intriguing with the visual side of things as well. But yeah, with the music videos, it's kind of funny, because I've been with different record companies, everything from indie to huge majors, to my own record company now that I have today. And so the budgets of these videos are extremely different. There's a zero difference in some of these videos. And it's interesting that the videos that had no budget are kind of the videos that I feel fit the music the most. And I think it was maybe because when I was doing it with huge record companies, there would be so many people involved, and it's harder to have full control and get your vision through and make other people see what you have in mind for the song and stuff like that. And it's easier almost when you're limited and it's only up to you, like you don't have any big teams of people. Yeah, you just put even more love and creativity into it if you don't have these unlimited budgets.
Right.
And those videos that you mentioned are those that were zero budget. So it was just me and a friend, putting tons of time into it, doing it ourselves the way I picture the music. So it's cool that you mentioned them out of all those different kinds of budget videos.
The one that struck me was Midas, because it's just you behind this orange glass almost. I don't know exactly how you would describe it. And it shows you how, as you were just saying, you don't need a crazy budget to get something
exactly
so unique. Yeah.
Yeah. It's about capturing the mood, the vibe. It's always interesting how it works with that. But yeah, that video is actually a one take even. So there's no edits even. It's just one take, one performance, and me sitting behind a glass and then pouring syrup. My friend is pouring syrup on the glass. That's like makes my face melt, basically.
Right.
It was really sticky. It was in my apartment, like in my living room there, and just like plastic all over and syrup everywhere. It's fun.
Yeah. On the visual side of things, you also seem to really have an appreciation for body art, tattoo art. How?
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's immediately, just from a visual standpoint, that's what struck me, is the art was so unique on some of the promos you've done and some of the other artwork. How does that affect you, or how do you connect with that rather?
Yeah, the body art concept that I like to play with as well also comes from the same idea of these covers. The covers, as well as the body art, has a lot of symbols and things representing the music, the songs, and even symbols for people involved or people close to me that inspired the song and stuff like that. It's all hidden in the details, kind of. And it's really fun to play with that. It started, to be completely honest, that concept kind of started from the start when I was a bit shy to take the step to actually become an artist myself, and not only write with other artists or for other artists. I was a little bit, I didn't feel completely comfortable with just having my press photos taken, like just pictures of my face. I felt like it was almost like I get brave if I have something that I'm proud of to show to people, kind of. That's what helps me get up on the stage. And if I have a song that I really like and want to show the audience, then I become brave and I dare to go up on stage. If I don't have that, I definitely wouldn't go up on a stage because I can be quite shy like that. And it's the same thing kind of with the camera. I was scared of the camera. So I thought if I put art on my body that I put love into designing and feel proud of it. And I was collaborating with a Russian girl that was like a champion in airbrush. So she would draw this design on my body, and it took, every time I've been working with her, it's been taking between 6 to 12 hours only to paint it onto my body. And it's water-based to get the details and stuff, so it won't even last for longer than, one day. So it's kind of like a lot of love into something that's just going to be washed away a few hours later. But that helps me become brave in front of camera, and that's how it started. Like, now I've been practicing for a few years because I've been doing this for a while now, so I can go in front of the camera without the body art now. But it's definitely how it started, that I just needed something. I wanted to make myself more like art or something, then I wouldn't get as shy. Yeah.
Talking about touring, what's that feeling like? Is it something that putting the music out and then going on tour and having that connection, does that really help you?
Yes, it does. And that was also a thing that I was scared at the start of taking the step of becoming an artist. I didn't know how I would react to the whole live performance part of it. There's many artists that don't like that part of the artistry and preferred to just be, studio artists or producer artists. But it turned out to be something that I actually really, really enjoy. So I'm really happy it went that way.
Yeah.
But it's, like I said, it's really based on me feeling confident in the music. If I feel like I can't have the feeling that, I don't know, maybe the record company told me that you should make your song a little bit more like that. If I don't feel it, I can't perform it. It's as simple as that. Like, I know I have to be 100% true to myself.
Yeah.
Otherwise I will faint on stage, and that won't be good for anyone. So it's kind of, it's as long as if I want, like, I need to have this urge to show a song to the audience, then everything will be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then then I can even lose myself in the music, and then it's really, really nice.
Yeah.
For me.
One song I wanted to talk about specifically, because I think of all your great work, I think it's my favorite, and it's Settle Down from the album. And it's you already have so many interesting like soundscapes and styles, but this one, it's such a hopeful love song in many ways. Mm-hmm. And it just has that very accessible feeling that I think anybody in the world could connect with.
Yeah, it's true. It's very this like hope, hope for a bright future, like this dream. Yeah, it's a very positive song.
Yeah. One of the last things I want to ask you, because I don't want to take up too much of your time. Besides music, what are things you like to do otherwise? Like what are hobbies or any other interests?
Ooh, music has kind of consumed my life a little bit, but during this year, when it's been more like not being able to go on tour or doing any shows and stuff, I felt like I need to pick up another hobby, as many others. And something that I've always been interested in is also drawing. That's something I've been doing since I was a kid. Like, I like that. But also this year I started to make jewelries.
Oh, cool.
There's a thing called silver clay where you can burn clay and then it turns into fine silver. It's really cool. So I've started experimenting with that at home. You basically work in clay, but you can make silver jewelry.
That's awesome.
So that's a hot tip if anyone wants a new hobby. It's really fun.
Yeah. I mean, I love talking to you. Is there anything else about your music? Anything else you want to mention? It's okay if not. I just never want to leave anything unsaid.
I'm trying to think of something. I can mention I have a symbol that I wear very often, which is like an H with an extra leg, and all the spirit animals of the songs also have this symbol somewhere on their bodies or in their jewelries, or it's a symbol that shows up everywhere, kind of on me and on my art. That is my family crest. The farm where I grew up is a very old farm, and it's a place where basically Vikings were living before. But okay, this crest is not from that age, but it looks very much like that kind of language. It's made to be easy to carve into wood, and back in the days it was for marking your tools or things that belong to the farm. And the farm name is also, and my family name is also Skott, but it's with the Swedish O with the 2 dots. So it's actually Skott. It's hard to pronounce it maybe. But it's, so that is where my name comes from as an artist, and also this symbol that I have everywhere. That is actually the real Skott crest that's belonged to my ancestors.
Wow.
So I kind of use it, and I feel like I get a bit empowered when I use this crest.
Yeah.
So that's where it's from.
It's just those little details that make artists like you so special. So I appreciate all those little things that you incorporate, because it really, in a variety of ways, really adds a lot.
Oh, thank you. That's cool. Yeah, I'm just thankful to my ancestors that they chose a cool looking, crest that I can use now.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you again. As I've said, I love your music, and it really has connected with me and affected me in so many ways. And so thank you.
That's so cool to hear. Yeah. Thank you for that. And it was really lovely talking to you. Really
you too.
So,
well, okay, everybody. Thank you so much again for listening, and we'll see you next time.